The Wii U is almost 10 years old this year, which is honestly really mind-boggling. I remember so much during the Wii U days, its highs, its lows, and the various games that released on it. It was one hell of a ride.
So I thought it'd be just fun to talk about the Wii U system itself. And no, this is not really a retrospective per se, it's mostly my viewing of the Wii U's lifespan, going through 2013 to 2016.
I remember stumbling upon the Wii U trailer during the E3 conference for the 3DS, and I was just fascinated on what this machine is. I grew up on the Nintendo Wii during its entire lifespan, playing various games and such, so to see that they were making a follow-up to the console but with better graphics was just really exciting. And alongside the Wii U, they showcased a new game called New Super Mario Bros. Mii, which I thought was really cool. And then next year, they showcased New Super Mario Bros. 2, and I was very confused. It took me until the end of 2013 to finally get a Wii U, but alongside that, I got some very cool games. And once I finally opened that Wii U box, I was just out of this world excited. Like, this is going to be really fun. During the hype of trying to get a Wii U, I remember watching GameXplain a lot, seeing their analysis videos on various games. And I was really jaw-dropped on what they showcased, like Mario Kart 8 and Super Mario 3D World. And I remember watching a lot of their older Wii U directs where they showcased this new game called Yarn Yoshi, which got me extremely excited. So yeah, I was a pretty damn hyped boy for the Wii U, and was probably the only one who was actually hyped for the Wii U during my classes around that time. But anyway, so I thought it'd be just fun to talk about the various games I got for each year of the Wii U's life. Starting with 2013, when I first got the Wii U, I was able to get 5 various games for the console. 3 of them being Mario games, 1 of them being Sonic game, and 1 of them being a package title. So let's start with the package title, Nintendo Land. This is honestly a really fascinating game. So instead of it being a minigame sports collection, this is more of an attraction for various Nintendo games. Even F-Zero got some love on this thing. This was a really fun multiplayer game when I was playing with family. My favorite ones being Luigi's Ghost Mansion and Mario Chase, where you have to use the gamepad and such. And I really love just stalking people around trying to get them. It's kind of remind me of something like the Batman Arkham games in a way. But anyway, for the next 2 games, we have New Super Mario Bros. U and New Super Luigi U. NSMB U is the 4th and final installment of the New Super Mario Bros. Games, while New Super Luigi U was DLC. But anyway, if you played one of the New Super Mario Bros. Games, you'll probably be familiar with this game. This may be a bit of a hot take, but I honestly really like this game a lot. It may not be mind-blowing like the later games I'm going to be talking about in this video, but for what it is, I thought it was really fun. Now for New Super Luigi U, this was really fun and challenging, and it's very faster paced compared to the base game. I honestly recommend trying it out, it's really good. Now for Sonic Lost World, this game is very fascinating. To go a bit off topic here, Sonic Lost World was part of a deal Nintendo and Sega had where they made 3 Sonic games exclusive. Now for this Sonic game, they tried to appeal more to Mario fans more than Sonic fans. But for this one, I think they leaned a bit too far. The gameplay itself is pretty fun, but it doesn't really feel like Sonic. And let's not talk about the story, because that is, yeah. But despite all that, I really can't hate this game, mostly for what it's trying to do. At best, I feel like it's a good game, but not a good Sonic game. Although I think I should talk about the DLC for this game, because they went all out for the DLC. The first one is a simple boss rush, but with a Knights theme to it. But for the next one, you're playing a Yoshi-themed level where you're trying to traverse eggs throughout the level. This is honestly really cool. And for the next and last DLC, we're playing through Zelda Hyrule. This is honestly awesome because you can actually explore through this area a bit. So yeah, Sonic Lost World is definitely worth it, especially for the DLC for the Wii U. Now for the final game, we have Super Mario 3D World. And this is honestly a really good game. The level design in this game is really fun, and the fact that you can actually play as other characters like in Super Mario Bros. 2 is really cool. And the music in this game is just really good, and it's not really surprising because it's a Mario game, but I really love the jazz style they give it. So yeah, that was my first year with the Wii U, and overall I thought it was a great first impression for the console for me. Now between all the games I've talked about, I think the best one from that year for me was Super Mario 3D World. Mostly because I spent the most time out of all the games playing this game the most. Now for 2014, this year was very packed with a lot of great games. The first one was Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, and this was honestly one of the best 2D platformers I've ever played, and it's probably Retro Studios' best game ever. The level design in this game is really top notch, and the presentation is just out of this world. They brought back David Wise for this game, and it really shows because this game just really feels like a Donkey Kong sequel. So yeah, it's a really phenomenal game. Now, for the next game, Mario Kart 8. This was the game I remember watching a lot during their E3 showcase because this game looks really good. And once I finally played it, my jaw literally dropped because how good this game looks visually. Just look at the water in Cheep Cheep Beach. This is really top-notch visuals. And the anti-gravity mechanic really makes them go really all out with the level design in the tracks. Like, you're literally driving up and down a waterfall. This is really insane. However, the only downside for this game was probably the battle mode. Mostly because they use regular tracks for the battle mode and it's only balloon fight. But luckily they fixed this in the Switch re-release Mario Kart 8 Deluxe where they made a proper battle mode. Now for the next game, Zelda Wind Waker HD. While this game released in 2013, I didn't get this until 2014. So that technically bumps us up to 2014 for me. So yeah, I thought this was one of the most interesting Zelda games I've played yet because how much of a cool style it has. And I really love the ocean theme to it. They've also streamlined various things from the original game to make this game the definitive way to play it. So yeah, if you're very curious on Zelda Wind Waker, try this version out. Now for the final game, we have Smash Bros. For Wii U. It's Super Smash Bros. There's really nothing that much I have to say. Although this was the first game that introduced the Amiibo system, with my first being this Yoshi Amiibo because I really like Yoshi. Although honorable mention to the Pac-Man reveal trailer because I really love Pac-Man. So yeah, these were the games I mostly played during 2014. And among all of them, I have to say the best game I've played in 2014 was probably Mario Kart 8. Just because over the really fun, hectic memories I've played with it, and the anti-gravity mechanic really gives this game its own edge. Now for 2015, it was a lot more hit and miss compared to the other years. Although since this video is about fond memories, some of these games will not include on this list. Now for the first game I got from 2015 was the brand new Nintendo IP at the time, Splatoon. This was a really fun and addicting shooter game, with the whole inking mechanic really makes this one of the most unique shooter games I've played. Shooter games are always the biggest thing in gaming, so to see Nintendo's doing a shooter game, but with their own twist, is really cool. And the story mode reminds me a lot of Ratchet & Clank, which is always a great thing. Now for the next game, Super Mario Maker. This was probably my most played game on the Wii U. I remember putting tons, and I mean tons of hours on this game. It was just really fun to play. And I had a really great time creating levels on the gamepad. Of course we have Super Mario Maker 2 with a brand new variety of levels and such, but I feel like it was more fun to make levels on the Wii U gamepad compared to using a controller. Especially considering that this game was heavily inspired by Mario Paint, an SNES title that used the mouse pad feature. I should also mention it includes this really cool art book that shows concept art of various things from Mario Maker and the original Mario Brothers on NES, which makes this an essential keeper for me. Too bad those fuckers at Nintendo cut off the online service for this thing. So essentially I can't do half this game anymore, so that's nice. So for the final game we have for 2015 is Yoshi's Woolly World. Now this game I was most curious on during the Wii U days, especially in 2012 when it was first revealed as Yarn Yoshi. It went absent the following years until 2014 where it finally reveals as Yoshi's Woolly World. We didn't get this game in the US until 3 months after it released everywhere else in the world. And once I finally played it, I freaking love this game. I'm gonna be making videos on this game one day alongside with other games I talked about in this video. I'll just say this real quick, this game is a worthy successor to Yoshi's Island. It does a lot of things great, while not trying too hard to be like Yoshi's Island. And the music in this game is fantastic, like my favorite in the Yoshi series, which is really hard considering that Yoshi's Island had an amazing soundtrack as well. And yeah, it's a really amazing title, and probably one of the most underrated Wii U games. And among all the 3 great games I've played in 2015, I have to say Yoshi's Woolly World was probably my favorite. Definitely because of the level design and such. I was going to say Mario Maker, but then I realized that half the game's content is now gone forever. Oh well, at least we have Mario Maker 2. Now for 2016, this was the final year I was active on the Wii U and gained games gradually. But for this, I only got 2 games in 2016 for the Wii U, which was Star Fox Zero and Paper Mario Color Splash. Star Fox Zero did include another game called Star Fox Guard, but I've never played it. Hell, it's still sealed in the box. Now for Star Fox Zero, this game had a lot of talk when it was first released. Mostly because over the emphasis on the Wii U gamepad. So in Star Fox Zero, it's essentially the traditional Star Fox gameplay you've played, but in order to aim and shoot enemies, you're going to need to look at the gamepad constantly. which can be very disorienting when you're constantly bopping up and down just to look at the gamepad and onto the TV. So essentially, there's a learning curve and motion controls attached to this. And sadly, this all didn't work out as this game was a commercial failure and such. But despite all of that, I honestly had a really good time playing through this game. The learning curve was a bit rough, but once I got used to it, it was really fun. However, for this case, it's much more of an acquired taste than an objective opinion. Now, for the final game on this list, and the final Wii U exclusive, we have Paper Mario Color Splash. So, Paper Mario is a bit of a controversial topic these days. When this game got announced, it was met with heavily negative reception during the announcement. This pretty much fleshed out the whole modern Paper Mario era. Especially considering that Paper Mario pretty much got a soft reboot of the series with Sticker Star, which they had much more emphasis on the paper mechanic. Which is a real shame because I really liked the original Paper Mario games, especially Paper Mario 64. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into this because this is a video about my Wii U history, not about Paper Mario's history. Now, if you haven't played Color Splash, you most likely assume that it's pretty much on the nose with Sticker Star. Which you are correct, because this is a direct sequel to Sticker Star. However, I feel like the quality for these games are significantly different because one of these games is pretty bad, while the other one is really freaking good. It still falls into the various trappings of Sticker Star, like the generic characters and such, but the settings in this game is far from being generic. In a way, it's kind of more like mini adventures Mario is going through. Like in one area, you're going through a digging site where you're trying to save trapped toads and such, while another, you're trying to find one of the paint stars in a computer by going through Mario 3 levels. You even got a nice callback to Super Paper Mario with the whole 2D and 3D flipping aspect. The only downside of this game is probably the battle system easily. If you're familiar with Sticker Star, you'll be not surprised, the battle system in this game is very dull. But despite all of that, I feel like the positives in this game outgrow the negatives in a lot of ways. And it was a nice way to go out for the Wii U for me. Because throughout the Wii U, I had a lot of pretty fun games, whether it's 2D or 3D games. And despite the Wii U selling very poorly throughout the years, I feel like the lineup for games were pretty good. And the good thing is that these games will not be forgotten on the Wii U. Especially considering that Nintendo has been porting a lot of these Wii U games on Switch. I get that people aren't too fan because Nintendo's Switch lineup is filling up with games that they already bought. But I personally didn't find this too offensive, although charging it for $60 is a different story. Besides, I feel like thanks to the success of the Switch, people are able to see underrated gems on the Wii U. Games like Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze was pretty good on the Wii U, but thanks to the Switch's broader audience, a lot more people can play it. And regardless on how many Wii U games are on Switch and such, there'll always be Wii U games. Them being ported to Switch just means that more people can enjoy these games. And as for the Wii U console itself, I absolutely adore this console. I really love the gamepad. It's very bulky and such, but that's why I really love it. It's very unique. And it's very fun to use when you're trying to do with various multiplayer games like Nintendo Land, which is a really great showcase on what the gamepad can do. And if you find the gamepad screen a bit too distracting, you can always find a Pro Controller for the Wii U. And finally I should mention is the Wii U eShop. The Wii U is slowly closing it down next year, but for what it was at the time, you could play a lot of Nintendo's classics throughout the entire history. And they've done a lot of great stuff for the Virtual Console. You're able to play a lot of old games, from the NES to Nintendo Wii, and you can do portable games as well, from the GBA to the Nintendo DS. And thanks to this, people were able to play a lot of games that they probably wouldn't. Stuff like Earthbound and very obscure GBA titles like Klonoa 1 and 2. But one of the coolest things they've done was re-release Mario Advance 4, but with the special e-reader cards, making this the definitive way to play Mario 3. And finally, we should talk about Miiverse. Damn it! So yeah, that was pretty much my entire history with the Wii U. Now, the Wii U wasn't the only thing I played throughout the years, because I had the 3DS of course, but for the games I've played exclusively on Wii U at the time, I felt like it was really fun and really timeless. Especially games like Super Mario 3D World and Mario Kart 8. Now that brings up the question, since a lot of these games are released on Switch, is there any reason to play a Wii U? Well, that mostly depends on what you want on the Wii U. Like, if you want to play games that are only on the Wii U and on Switch, then go for it. But, if you want to play Wii games, then get a Wii U. Since it's the best way to play Wii games in high quality. Excluding stuff like Dolphin, of course. The Wii U may not be perfect, but for what it was trying to do at the time and what the games are on it, I really adore it. But that'll do for today, so thank you for watching and I'll see you later. Bye bye.